Welcome to episode 14 of Marketing for E-commerce Brands. Today we're joined by Anthony Leung, the founder of Mean Right Hook, a video service that helps founders turn their expertise into short videos that feel natural and actually convert. With over 15 years of experience crafting stories for brands such as Pret and JUST EAT, Anthony now works with business leaders to build confidence on camera and create content that connects. In today's episode, we'll be exploring how video is even more important in a world increasingly dominated by AI, along with a few great tips on how to film video that makes an impact. So that being said, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to add that I missed about your background and all of that?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well. Only thing you left out, maybe, I don't know. I stayed up to watch the 2019 Toronto Raptors win the championship. That is it. That is the only thing you left out.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the win. We're super happy to have you here. One of your famous sayings is that video is a relationship builder, not just content, which I 110% agree with. Can you elaborate on this for our viewers a bit?
Man, 110% is a lot. So I'm gonna try to represent us as best as we can. But I'm gonna start off in a funny spot, because I think that a lot of us marketers are conditioned to think of content in a certain way, right? It almost feels like homework. It's something we have to do. It's a channel that we kind of just push our message. And I was working in-house. A lot of the requests would be like, hey, can you push this onto social? And that kind of reflects the attitude we have with content. I think the problem is, especially with AI now, is that that technology is enabling everyone to that stuff at scale, right? We're able to kind of scale knowledge or expertise when it's not actually knowledge or expertise at all. I would argue that content has never always worked that well to begin with, but now anyone can just churn so much of that with a single push of a button. What's going to happen is that our feeds are going to just feature less and less real insights and real experiences from people. You know, how are we supposed to trust what we're going to see on our screens? And I think that that leads to trust being like the new currency in business, and a new currency in our content, right? That's the goal. That's the ROI. And if your audience can consistently trust what you put out is real, that's how you're going to get that audience to believe in you. And that's how you're going to stand out from that AI slop that we're going to just see, right? But then that trust is earned, and it doesn't come overnight. That's going to be the hard thing that we have to kind of fight against, is that there's no overnight solution. It's a consistency thing. I mean, we have to do it. It's not just we post every day, but we post consistently, and we post as authentically and genuinely as possible. And in order to do that, that takes a different mindset. We have to shift from thinking about, hey, what message am I just going to try and push, to what I need to share to earn the trust of our investors or our customers or whoever my audience is. That's why I think video plays a big part, because when, first of all, you can replicate that expertise, but you can't replicate who you are, your real energy, your real passion in front of a camera. And when you're delivering that on video, it's not just an opportunity to tell you what you know, it's also to show who you are. So it gives people a sense of like what it's like to work with you, to what your energy is, what it's like to give them reasons to believe in you. That's really what we're going to be craving for when we're just bombarded with so much AI content, is something real, people to trust, people to believe in. When we do that on video, with people that we've met, it gives them a affirmation of who you are, and that builds that connection from there. And for people who you haven't met, that's a great starting point. So that's how I feel about video, and why it's going to play such a big role in building these relationships.
110% agree on all of the above. And I really like this trust as a currency, because I think that's something that will only become more important as AI continues to grow. I talk a lot about how AI is great for marketers, but once you remove that option to speak to a human, you remove that human connection. So how can we use AI as marketers without sacrificing that human connection?
I mean, I think it's crazy, to me anyways, that this technology's evolving. We've got a camp of people that's so desperate to try and replace as many humans as possible, when I think that technology is here to serve us, right? And I think that's the key here, is that if we can keep what really matters in the top of mind, then what matters is what our clients, our customers, our investors, those people are all human. They're not bots. And so the most important thing is to earn their trust. That's the primary goal. And if we start with that mindset, when we explore these technologies, it's always going to help us explore in a way where it helps us speed up some of the things that we're good at, right? Some of the writing, some of the research, how to help us kind of research in ways that we can relate to our audience better. But we won't get into ways that will replace us, replace how we show up. That's the key. Because ultimately, our presence is our advantage. Our experiences, all that comes with our lived experiences, the stories that we bring. So if we outsource that to AI, we're just going to get generic version ourselves. But if we play with the technology where it helps us get to certain things faster, that makes it very different.
Totally. And there's a theory that I often reference of if you talk about the same thing for 21 days on social media, people will label you as that. And when you add AI in there, as you just mentioned, you're sacrificing the trust, you're sacrificing the reality of who you are and the authenticity, which we know cannot be faked or replicated. So I have to agree with you there. I'm not worried about losing my job per se to AI, but it does accentuate how much we really need video even more. So I don't know if you've heard of the term AI slop, which was coined by John Oliver. So if anybody's listening right now, go check out AI slop on the late night show. That was just a great kind of inspo for me in terms of finally they have a word for it, which is all this AI content that's getting pushed out. And we saw YouTube just took a stand and cut down on repetitive, clearly not genuine AI content. So how do you think founders and brands can stand out and connect through video amongst standing out all the AI?
I mean, first of all, big John Oliver fan, so I'm so glad you should have gave him a shout out. But I think that, gosh, that's exactly it, right? I remember this was just in January when I gave a talk about essentially that. And the talk came from scrolling through all these videos that were just AI generated. And it's so overwhelming. It's so overwhelming. But I think that founders, business leaders, we always have to keep in mind that AI will never be able to replace the reason why people believe in us in the first place, right? Especially for founders. There's so often that, especially in the beginning stages, where people invest in them, customers invest in them because of who they are, because of who they believe can execute the vision, right? And so when people believe in you, that you have to lose that thought that you have to be perfect in everything that you do. This corporate version of you is not the only way you have to stand out. In fact, the more you're able to lean into the energy and the personality that you have, that you bring to, let's say, networking or pitching or anything in real life, if you can bring that to camera, that's how you're going to stand out through in your content. And in a funny way, I guess, I see this with everyone. That includes myself when I first started making videos. I feel like I have to show up in this LinkedIn version of me. It's like a weird persona. All of a sudden, I sprout hair and I got a tie on, and it's really weird. But the moment I lose that, the moment I'm able to give myself permission to be myself, that's where that content feels different. That's where that content feels believable. And the more we're able to do that, the better, the more we're able to stand out from AI. And I know that's easier said than done, right? Because I went through that journey myself. I remember doing my first video and I was literally shaking, and it took me 3 hours to make a 30-second video. That's why a lot of the work that I put in with my clients is to help them relax and loosen up. And if they can believe that I can present them the best light, they feel like they can just be themselves. And that's the work here.
That's great. The part about perfection as well, I've always felt that perfection kills content. And this also differentiates on platforms. So you're going to leave me with something to reflect on as well, because I am a little more professional on my LinkedIn than, say, how I show up on my Instagram. But overall, just trying to be yourself, it really does make such a difference. And in terms of the perfection, I feel like this differentiates per platform. So how more laid back you're willing to be. And we've seen people do on TikTok specifically where Instagram is the candles and TikTok is the behind the scenes, how they package the candles, how they're just making $8 on their first launch. And people actually really prefer that non-perfectionist vibe. So if anyone's listening, don't let perfection stop you from getting started. The more you practice, the more comfortable you get. What are the biggest mindset blocks that you feel like stop leaders from showing up on camera?
You know what's crazy about that, right? That CMO's blockers are the same blockers as, let's say, someone who's just come out of university. Exact same, right? It's like, oh, they don't think they have anything interesting to say. That's crazy. They don't like how they look or sound. And this is the wildest one for me. They're afraid that someone from their high school is going to judge them and make fun of them behind their backs. For me, it's been a while since high school. But that fear is real. And it's to me, feels strange from the outside, because these are the same people that can pitch in a room of strangers, that can go to an all hands and be in absolute command of a company. But when they hit the record button, that's where they absolutely freak out. And I find that kind of funny. But at the same time, being through that journey myself, I know it's easier said than done to get over that. For me, I'm able to now say, who cares about all that stuff? I remember going on another podcast where professional cameras everywhere. I thought it was going to be great. And once it comes out, all I could see was this double chin. The entire half an hour, I was like, oh, I just see it wobble, wobble, wobble. But no one else saw it. Who cares? For me, it's more important to be there to show up, right? Imperfections that I judge myself for is actually some of the imperfections that people like me for. Right? I don't know who likes me for my double chin, but if you're out there, give me a like. And again, I think that's why I approach my work with my clients that way, right? It's the more they're able to present themselves as who they see themselves as, and maybe more importantly, because we're such consumers of content, we see what we can envision what good looks like. And when we're not able to deliver it ourselves, it makes us frustrated. So if they can put the trust on me in my writing that I can present them as themselves, if I can make sure that they can present themselves as the experts that they are, and that I'll make them look as good as possible. They're relaxed, they're able to show up. And I think that's where the good stuff is. It's not to be slick. That's how we're going for it. We're just out here trying to be ourselves.
Exactly. And I think that's what social media reminds all of us, both as marketers and as consumers, that it's not about being perfect. It is about being our most authentic self and showing up like that. And it makes me kind of think, okay, there's two factors to the videos here. So obviously you have being your authentic self and how you show up and how you relax. But then you also have the conversion factor. So how do you balance making videos that feel natural but also convert?
And that's a great question, but I also think that by asking it like that, it almost feels like the two can't come hand in hand. When I think that the two does come hand in hand, right? If you think about it's almost like asking a great salesperson. It's like, hey, dude, can you stop being so damn likable and just start focusing on selling something? Yeah. When it's their likability that actually converted that sale. Right. So I think that's the same that goes for video, right? The more relatable we are, the more we get trusted, right? The more we understand our clients and our prospects, what their problems are and how we solve them, and more we're able to present it in a way that they relate, the more that we're able to lead to conversion. Instead of, trying to see the two as completely separate things, I think they're the same. I think it's how do we present the problems in a relatable way? How do we create content that's relatable to them? Best content isn't even about, hey, here's how we're going to solve our problems. It's you're being seen. It's you on a Friday night and you're cramming away, and it's making you feel like you just want to go home. Content like that makes people feel, oh, this person knows how I'm feeling, and whatever they're selling, I'm going to listen to a bit more. So I think that it goes hand in hand.
Okay, so relatability and authenticity, essentially, that's a great way to look at it in terms of they're not two separate things, they're one, and together they make the magic social media video. I knew you were working on a workshop about how to help people become more confident in front of the camera, which I will definitely be tuning in for because everybody needs to brush up on this stuff. For anybody listening, what's one simple shift that they could make to create better videos starting today?
All right, so I'm gonna give you an exclusive right now. Since you plugged my workshop, I'm gonna tell you the first thing that we're gonna be doing, because this is for me the key mindset shift in making better videos. So the first exercise we're going to be doing is that we're going to do a short clip together. I'm going to make you do a short clip, and it's not going to be about work. We're going to talk about something you really genuinely care about, whether it's your dog or, for me, it's what I like to eat. Maybe it's a football team, but we all have something that we can't shut up about. When you record that video and you look back at it, what you'll notice is that your entire demeanor just changed. Your body language is different. Your tone is different. Your eyes are like, whoa, listen to this thing I really, really care about. And that's the shift we're going for, is if we can talk about work and our expertise in the same personality, in the same way that you talk about the energy that you have about something you really care about, people can feel that. That's your true self coming out. That's the first shift that we need to know. That's the key shift that we need to do, is we need to be able to recognize that there's a gap between those two energies, and we need to close that gap.
I freaking love that advice. I'm going to definitely do that exercise, and it makes total sense. It's such a great place to start. So if anyone's thinking about signing up for that workshop, here is your sign. We could keep going for hours on this topic because it's just something that we both feel so passionate about. Anthony, thank you so much for joining today. Where can people find you? Is there anything that that they should know about that's going on in your world today?
Oh, it sounds like we're doing hot ones, and we're just like, tell us what you got going on in your life. The only difference right now is my mouth's not feeling like it's burning. So yeah, like you alluded, I'm working on an email-based workshop. It's based on real training that I've given to people, successful training where people come up from, in the morning, that the feedback was that they hated me, and then by the end of it, they're like, oh, I like you now. So that's great feedback. And people have come out feeling far more confident to be on camera in a way that is authentic and in a way that's genuine, and in a way that is presenting your expertise in this medium, in a way that is consumed in this medium. So hit me up on LinkedIn. You can look me up under Anthony Leung or Mean Right Hook, right being WRITE. That's a marriage between my love of puns and my love of violence. Play violence. And if you're a startup founder who's looking to create content that connects with their investors and their customers, give me a shout. Let's have a chat. Let's see where your journey's at and see if I can help you out.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us. I had so much fun talking about video with you and marketing. For anyone who's watching this video, if you've enjoyed it, don't forget to like and hit subscribe. And if you need to reach Anthony or sign up for his workshop, all of his relevant links will be below the video. So thanks again, Anthony, and for everyone tuning in, and have a great day.